You'll hear from an artist who used the tools of his trade to beat down two thugs who were trying to rob his tamales vendor. And we'll talk to the cops who delivered that Saturday surprise on the porch of a police substation. Also, we'll show you the cop charge for hustling $300 from a man not wearing a mask. Plus, Commissioner Chester goes to Orange Walk with a whole lot of goodwill and gifts for Guinea grass. Oh, we've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight, Tuesday, August 25th, 2020. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indira Craig.
Now is the time to sign up for the best postpaid plans in the country because Digi has doubled the data in all their plans. Now you can get even more done, connect even more, stream even more, create even more, and share even more. All on the fastest mobile network that gives you the most coverage nationwide. Now is the time to go postpaid with plans starting as low as $49 monthly. Shared plans are also available, all with unlimited talk and text. So don't wait. Hurry over to your nearest Digi store to sign up today. Enjoy double the data in all postpaid plans only with Digi.
Every Belizean man, woman and child must have access to quality, affordable health care. It is imperative that across this nation, every citizen be a part of the National Health Insurance Program. Our hospitals, clinics, and health posts countrywide must be of a standard where all can receive adequate care. The People's United Party has listened. Join us virtually on Wednesday, August 26th at 10 a.m. as the party launches its Plan Belize policy on health. Tune in to media outlets live or via social media as we outline our comprehensive plan to rebuild a health system that works for every single Belizean. We will make it happen. The PUP will deliver. Under a PUP government, every Belizean man, woman and child should win and will win.
Grandpa, I want crystal water, please. Can I please get one crystal water, please?
Okay, dear.
Thank you.
Welcome.
It pleases your heart, knowing she will grow up drinking the brand you have always trusted. It gives you peace of mind. Crystal water. Taste you can trust.
I remember the days when trucks used to line up at the Guatemala border, and we could have only watch as they come in loaded with LPG and then left with Belizean dollars. Things changed since, because the Belizeans they drive now, that we have the jobs, and are definitely proud to be able to keep my dollars home. Either Elvis Roaches and either one of the Belizean drivers for the National Gas Company. I haul butane from the new state-of-the-art terminal to the port of Big Creek. The hard work, but at the end of the day, I go home to my family and provide for them. Thanks to NGC, I do my lead part to build my country. We the all Belizeans on this team, and we're proud to work hard to deliver one product will last longer and give you more value for money. I proud to work at NGC, and for you we Belizean people.
The National Gas Company Belize Limited, fueling Belize forward.
I'm Chef Sean Quillen, and I got a nice surprise for you today.
Take your cooking skills to a whole new level with Glazed Out, TNC's first ever cooking show with culinary expert Chef Sean Quillen. Tune in every week for exciting Belizean cuisine and some of Belize's biggest names in culinary art and culture, and watch as they create unique and delicious meals that will surely excite your taste buds. Glazed Out in the kitchen with Chef Sean.
Belizean food, how another level. Premiering only on TNC 10.
It was the highlight of the morning, a viral video of a Belize City artist on a social media live rant after driving off a pair of violent thugs who had robbed and beaten the neighborhood tamales man. Our team was on the scene shortly after to get the full story from the artist who swung at robbers with wood frame and an old easel. Charisse Halsal has the story.
Well-known painter Alex Sanker went live on Facebook this morning just after he'd chased off a pair of robbers who had thrown a man to the ground in front of his house.
So anyway, the out here live, you have this tamales boy way pass through here every day, can sell tamales. Every day. I in a studio, they paint. I hear a young boy, the ball, two of them black boy beat up, rob and just now. I come out and I grab a stick there for my easel and I lash up them. I hear a lot tamales probably a couple feet from here. All that, but my understanding I get now, the young man there, follow on, right? He was robbed, beat up and robbed. The guard on his shoot, the video that I made, his face was already washed. The neighbor then come and give him a bucket and then wash his face. But his whole nose may have clogged up blood. I don't know if his teeth chip, his eye black and blue. I mean, the two guys had him panic ground. Cause in the fight back. I mean, you know, that it defend itself. And so when I gone out there and I be like, yo, what they go on here, man? One of them tell me, you know, I can't use the language. But anyway, I be like, oh, okay. So I run back in the yard and grab one of my easel. The one that fall up. And I did what I had to do and I run off.
You might know Sanker from his Albert Street exhibitions, and he's been in the news recently as the artist behind the portrait of COVID victim Luis Romero. And while the artist has always claimed to be a patriot, today he proved his love for his fellow Belizean.
But we live in our country right now. Everybody know my work. I always bring the truth through my work. And for me to be here sitting down and see what's going on, I didn't wake up this morning for this. I don't need no problem in my life. I love my life. I do what I do. But at the same time, don't get it twisted. I'll do what I have to do to help a fallen brother. And I'm going to repeat this very clear. I did not regret 1 minute the overwhelming support right now. People, Alex, be careful, this, whatever. You know what's funny, brother? I live my life saying, you know what? We can't live in a country where you are living basically in a prison. And then I was doing this painting showing, God bless our country, Corona is real. You have one cough when they tell Belizean, listen, this thing is real. So for me to paint this, I would be a hypocrite if you look through the window and let that happen. I know that guy like a family member every day with tamales. I had to do something. Not to regret what I did this morning.
And while Sanker has no regrets, the tamales vendor, Abelardo Gonzalez, is full of gratitude.
When I was going, they grabbed me from behind and they hit me. He attacked two of them with a stick. They have already been captured.
If you could say something to the artist, what would you say?
I'd say thanks so much for the help. There are still good people here in Belize.
We have to come together as a society and say, you know what? Let's do what's right. But it's scary, don't get me wrong. I ain't no Superman. I ain't no hero. All what I did was help a fallen brother. This man selling tamales every day, come way from Corozal, my understanding. And for him, they had the right boy in the sun hat to selling the tamales, they don't want to rob him. Come on.
Police responded almost instantly and have detained two suspects, one of whom promptly escaped. And while it's now a police matter, we had to ask whether Sanker is frightened by the robbers' threats to return.
Yes, I'm going to take precaution. I've been taking precaution before this. This country is dangerous right now. That's not coming from me. No. It's about the action that's happening every day. So my thing is at the end of the day, like I said, of course I'm going to take precaution. It's on a personal level what I'm going to do that. But of course, no, I will defend no. This right here, and me, I'll defend this with everything I have left.
Charisse Halsell, 7 News.
And how much did they get off with? A mere $20, we are told. 2 suspects were captured shortly after the incident, but one of them has since escaped custody and is being sought. Police spotted them because they walked with a limp. They are from the area. And while Sanko was today's hero, we take a look now at 2 unsung heroes from early Saturday morning. They are WPC Nazira Abdullah and Corporal Lawrence Jones, the officers who delivered a baby on the porch of a police substation while waiting for an ambulance. Here are their recollections of their quick actions to safeguard the life of a mother and her child.
Coming to Saturday morning, about 10 minutes to 3, gentlemen arrive at the station, right? They say, officer, I need assistance. My wife, they're going in labor. I just asked, like, what part your wife there? He said the company shoot. So then I try call control room. I try get the mobile first, then I get control room. Then they ask if I want bird. I tell them yes.
I went outside to see the mother. She was coming down the street. However, I went back inside to try get some assistance with the mobile, but never succeeded. So I went back outside. By the time I went back outside, the mother already having the baby. So the only thing I could have done was tell her to give me the baby, but she was like, I was nervous. She, they have this baby. So I was like, all right, give me the baby. She like, miss, remember the car? So I'm like, okay. So I just leave her the baby. I took her and the baby in front of the station, the Mahogany station, get her chair for her to sit along with the baby, call the ambulance. However, it took like about 10 to 15 minutes for the ambulance to reach, after which I took the baby from her, lowered the baby so they could cut the cord and place the baby in the ambulance. But what I can tell you, it was a healthy, bouncy baby. It was a pleasure also, but the mother and the baby is okay.
In the rush of everything, neither officer got the mother's name, so they haven't had a chance to follow up personally and visit the newborn they delivered. And while those are 2 feel-good stories for police, the next one is bad news for the cops, but good news for the community. A police officer has been charged for extorting an American man for not using a mask. It's a new pattern of corruption that we blew the whistle on weeks ago, where cops tried to make a quick come-up on persons who forgot to wear their mask and really don't want to face that $5,000 fine. The commissioner got wise to it this weekend when an American man complained that a cop shook him down for $300 at the Tower Hill checkpoint in Orange Walk. One of the officers at the checkpoint told him that it was an offense to approach a checkpoint without a mask. The officer then took him to the back of the vehicle where he told him that they can work out something so as not to face the steep fine. The American alleged that he offered the police officer $50 and the cop declined. He then offered $300, which the cop allegedly accepted. The police officer was detained, and tonight we can confirm that he has been charged. 38-year-old Constable Reginald Diego Jr., 38 years, from Libertad Village, Corozal, was criminally charged for extortion today. Now, that is an indictable offense which has to be tried in the Supreme Court, which is a long and winding process through the courts. But the Compol wants to change that with an amended state of emergency SI.
But I have suggested to the AG that what we can do, whenever we amend the SI again, we can put a provision in there that any member of the security force who accept money from any person to avoid prosecution under the regulation commits an offense. And the penalty for that will be 1 year imprisonment. And that will then give us the ability to be able to deal more swiftly with officers who have the propensity of using the SI to extort people.
I have to ask, sir, in light of this suggested provision, is it because you're receiving more and more reports of extortion going on?
Yes, of course, and we have to find a way to be able to nip this as quick as we can. And I believe that such a provision will serve as a strong deterrent to police officers who may want to do it, because they will know that it won't take this 3-4 years in Supreme Court. It will be dealt with more swiftly.
Diego will also face internal disciplinary charges. And in other news of allegedly corrupt cops yesterday, in discussing the case of Constable Jonathan Cal, accused of smuggling a pregnant border jumper into Belize, the commissioner alluded to, quote, other allegations where that police officer is concerned. 7 News has learned that those allegations center over this pistol assigned to the anti-drug unit in Belmopan, but recovered by Punta Gorda police from a known criminal. The gun went missing last year, August. Credible reports tell us that over the last 3 weeks, the same constable was charged and convicted with disciplinary charges for this firearm and was surcharged $2,800. When we come back, more stories from falling from grace as a pastor is charged for theft in Cayo. And we'll show you the couple playing some kind of summertime Santa outside Guinea Grass Village. Don't go away.
Electricity is an essential part of our daily lives. We use lights and household appliances every day. Therefore, we must ensure our homes are wired properly. At Benny's, we have certified wires with the right gauges and insulation. BEL certified meter sockets, authentic GE and Square D panel boxes and breakers, which protect your electrical system from being overloaded. When wiring your home, avoid imitation brands which can be very dangerous. Give yourself and your family peace of mind using genuine electrical products available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Price Premier Products Limited has been proudly serving Belize for many years. We aim to serve you better and are pleased to announce our new office with convenient parking at number 1728 Chetamal Street, Belize City. Here, you will find our Price Smart outlet opening on weekdays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Be impressed with the variety of quality branded products such as Pampers, Always, Tide and Downy, Del Monte, DAC, Vigo and Alessi, Duracell, Crystal Farm Cheese, Linda Powdered Milk, Great Lakes Pork Tails, Ground Coffee. We distribute many of the world's top and finest brands to supermarkets and stores nationwide. For authentic brands and quality products, visit us today. Price Premier Products Limited, importer and distributor of fine quality products.
RF&G Insurance wants you to be prepared for the hurricane season. Part of that preparation is doing a thorough assessment of your home and other assets. Be sure to take into consideration where your home is located and what it is constructed of. RF&G Insurance Company Limited, where it pays to get it right.
Meals are better at home with Coca-Cola. Collect 2 golden caps of Coca-Cola, Fanta, or Sprite 1.5 liter with the word WIN and 1 golden cap with the word microwave or 1 with the word Oster. And you can win a microwave oven or Oster pots and pans. You'll also receive a free kitchen utensil with all 1.5 liter twin pack purchases. You can collect all 4 utensils. Visit www.coca-cola.com.
Now is the time to sign up for the best postpaid plans in the country because Digi has doubled the data in all their plans. Now you can get even more done, connect even more, stream even more, create even more, and share even more. All on the fastest mobile network that gives you the most coverage nationwide. Now is the time to go postpaid with plans starting as low as $49 monthly. Shared plans are also available, all with unlimited talk and text. So don't wait. Hurry over to your nearest Digi store to sign up today. Enjoy double the data in all postpaid plans only with Digi.
village is in emergency mode. COVID ward full of patients. No more space. Our health system is in crisis. Patrick Faber is the UDP leader. He wants to be Prime Minister. So since the UDP is in power, Patrick must have a plan for help, right? Actually, no. What Patrick has is a song. With COVID-19 overwhelming our health system, no jobs, no assistance for the poor, economy in shambles, Patrick has no plan, just a song. Belizeans need a real leader, not an immature boy. This is no time for songs and games. It is time to make the change. It is time for the UDP to go.
Reports reaching 7 News tonight is that a 49-year-old pastor from the Kaya district has been charged for theft after he was detained by a team of police officers from Spanish Lookout. Roberto Armando Ruiz is facing multiple counts of theft after the pastor is being accused of stealing tools from Farmers Trading Center in Spanish Lookout. We are told that he was caught on surveillance camera on 3 separate instances when he was seen stealing tools from Farmers Trading Center. We are told that the owners of the business place are requesting court action against him since he allegedly stole approximately $3,000 worth of tools. Last week on the news, you saw Guinea Grass villagers protesting at their village boundary, which is now a police checkpoint. Their village is under COVID lockdown, and they were there making impassioned pleas for food assistance, especially for the community's children. Well, the Commissioner of Police heard their cry and today visited the Guinea Grass Village Police Checkpoint, where he met the chairman Benito Oak and another resident. He then handed over several boxes of groceries, which the department is donating to this community in need. He told our colleagues from CTV3 News about this gesture from the department.
I must say thanks to the chairman and Mr. Camara. Last week, when they had the peaceful protests here at the checkpoint, I communicated with both gentlemen and tried to see in what way I can help to alleviate some of the problems that they're encountering in the village. And one of the things that we came up with was to make arrangement for a police escort to be able to take at least once a week residents of the village who may need to go to the bank to collect money and then go to the store to buy groceries. So we put something in place where they would get a van or a bus and the villagers get on board following all the necessary protocols, and then they'll be escorted into the town by the police to the bank, then escorted to the store, then escorted back into the village with a view to ensure that they continue to be able to sustain themselves. We know that the village is under lockdown and the government is not in a position to give them all they would need. And so it was only prudent that we try to find other avenues to help them. And in that same vein, they said to me that the government do give them some assistance, but they're not getting things that they would want for the kids, like the biscuit, the chips, and Lala milk, and these sort of things. And so I said to them that I will employ my best endeavor to put together a package that I'll be able to deliver for them this week. And so I contacted some businessmen, and I must say that Santiago Castillo Jr. is the biggest contributor of what we what I'm donating today. You would know that Sankast father, who started the Sankast group of company, is from Guinea Grass. And so when I told him of it, he was more than willing to assist. He said, Brother Chess, I want you to know that my father was from Guinea Grass, who started this company. And I am going to help the people of Guinea Grass because they are my people. And so I am very, very grateful to Mr. Santiago Castillo Jr. for the very, very handsome donation. We also get some stuff from Extra House Import. We got some stuff from Idiot Supermarket. We got some stuff from I think 99 Shopping Center. And so those are the persons who contributed to what we are donating here today. And this is a part of our community policing outreach.
The total value of the donation is just over $2,000. The groceries were donated to be equally distributed to the residents. Today, police found a huge stash of weed, a total of 37 pounds of marijuana hidden in an empty lot on Linda Vista Street in the Martins area of Belize City. A team of police officers searched the lot and came up with a plastic bag which contained 18 parcels of suspected cannabis. When they took it to be weighed, the 18 parcels had a combined weight of 17.055 kilos or 37.6 pounds. Since no one was found in the area when the drugs were discovered, they were sealed and deposited as found property. The latest COVID numbers released this afternoon show that Belize has 730 total confirmed COVID cases, with 672 active cases. The 129 samples tested yesterday returned 17 new positive cases, 9 in the Corozal district, 4 in the Orange Walk district, 2 in Belize City and 2 in the Cayo district. There were also 3 recovered cases, 1 in Chanchen, Corozal, 1 in Belmopan, 1 in Cayo and 1 from Orange Walk. Notably, there are 454 cases currently under investigation. The Ministry of Health also reports that it is investigating another suspect case who died in Orange Walk. This is presumably Teresa Cruz, the younger sister of San Felipe resident Natalio Wicab, who died on Saturday night from COVID-19 complications. She died last night while having breathing difficulties, and her family strongly suspects it's COVID-19. Numbers released last night by the Ministry of Health show that the number of COVID cases in the Orange Walk district are on a path to surpass San Pedro town. Those figures show that district as having 204 positive cases since March and 187 active cases presently. San Pedro town still leads the entire country with 216 cases confirmed and 213 active cases. The Belize district, excluding San Pedro, has 132 positive cases since March and 11 currently active. Stan Creek has 17 active cases, Toledo 1, Cayo 68, and Corozal 61. And what's the best way to make sure that you don't become one of those statistics? Well, the latest science says 6 feet of social distance and wearing a mask anytime you're around anyone else talking, coughing, sneezing, or even breathing. That's because of what is known as aerosol or airborne transmission. It's one of the many ways and the main way that the coronavirus spreads. Contact tracing has found that much COVID-19 transmission occurs in close proximity, such as when people talk to each other at close range. Yesterday on Ask the Experts, Dr. Manzanero underscored the importance of wearing masks in tight spaces.
Understand also that the current evidence suggests that up to 40% of infections are transmitted by asymptomatic persons. And that's important because that's the relevance of why we both need to be wearing a mask, because I don't know if in this process of interaction any of one of us is positive and not keeping that 6 foot distance. Touch seemed to be one of the higher risk situations, but now because of how it is transmitted, it's simple activities such as talking or breathing alongside somebody that is and you're not wearing a mask, those put you at a higher risk than the hand situation. The hand is, you need to wash it before it touches your face, and simply because you're touching surfaces where respiratory droplets, or whenever droplets when we're talking, are being left around, invisible to you, you touch it and then touch your face, that's a potential risk. But simple activities such as breathing and talking would seem to be, for the time being, high risk factors, especially if it's in closed environments where you have ACs that don't have adequate ventilation as well.
So the rule of thumb is the closer you are to someone releasing virus-carrying aerosols, the more likely you are to breathe in larger amounts of virus. And while those are for your physical health, right now Belizeans are under a lot of stress and strain as they try to survive the health and financial consequences of the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. These struggles can be very taxing to your mental health, and that's why the Mental Health Unit hosted today's edition of the Ask the Experts webcast. One of the mental health coordinators was very detailed about what you can do to look after your own mental health. Here's an excerpt of her presentation in which she described what forms the COVID-19 stress may take.
It's normal for people to experience a wide range of thoughts, feelings, and reactions, such as feeling stressed or overwhelmed. And we find that this may be due to the constant media coverage of the pandemic, having to wear face masks, something that we have never done before, or because of being in quarantine or self-isolation. Anxiety, worry, or fear are the most common feelings being expressed at this time, as we have many questions of how long this will last. What is going to happen? Who will take care of my family if we fall ill? And so many other unanswered questions. Sadness, tearfulness, or loss of interest in usually enjoyable activities may also be experienced, whilst others may experience physical symptoms such as increased heart rate, upset stomach, fatigue, or other uncomfortable sensations. The response of some people is frustration, irritability, or anger, restlessness or agitation, having trouble relaxing, feeling helpless, difficulty concentrating or sleeping, feeling disconnected from others, or even being fearful about going to public spaces.
From there, she provided advice on best practices you can implement to care for your own mental health. Here's what she had to say about what you can do to decrease the stress levels.
Looking after our well-being in times like this can help to reduce stress and is important in helping us to take calm and practical action as we face this pandemic. So there are many ways that we can look after ourselves and build up our resilience. And by resilience, we refer to our capacity to recover from adversity, trauma, tragedy, or threats. So one of the most effective ways we can manage stress and anxiety at this time is to focus on the actions that are in our control. So we find that many people tend to focus on things that they cannot control, but we need to focus on those actions that we can control. So on a daily basis now, we have been hearing the importance of hand washing, physical distancing, maintaining our 6 feet apart from each other, practicing our cough etiquette, and cleaning surfaces that we are constantly touching. So that is something that we have in our control and we can practice on a daily basis. Another thing that we can do is that we can acknowledge feelings. Whatever you are feeling right now, know that it is okay to feel that way. Allow yourself time to notice and express what you are feeling. This could be done through journaling, talking with others, or even channeling your emotions into something creative. Mindfulness meditation exercises can also help people to stay grounded in the middle of this emotional storm we are facing. You can learn how to let thoughts and feelings come and go in their own time without getting overwhelmed by them. So another activity that we can do is to maintain day-to-day activities and a routine as much as possible. So having a healthy routine can have a positive impact on your thoughts and feelings. What are some of the things that we can do? We go back to the basics, like eating healthy meals, practicing physical exercise. So during this time of change, it's natural for our minds to think of all the usual activities we may not be able to do at the moment. So we need to make a conscious effort to shift our focus on the activities that we are still able to do, or those that we may have more opportunity to do if we're at home. So another thing that we can do as well is staying connected. Receiving support and care from others has a powerful effect on helping us cope with challenges. We need to remember that physical distancing does not need to mean social disconnection. So there are many ways that we can use technology to stay connected and both give and also receive support remotely. Some questions you can ask yourself to shift your thinking from thinking the worst to a more helpful mindset are questions like this. So, what are the things within my control? Am I overestimating the likelihood of the worst case scenario? What has worked for me before to cope with challenging situations that will serve me well during this time? What is a small, helpful, or positive action that I can take now?
According to the Ministry of Health, there is the real possibility of being oversaturated with news about the pandemic. The ministry suggests scheduling a particular time of the day to get all your updated information, but then you should limit that urge to continually obsess over the latest breaking news about COVID-19. They are also suggesting changing topics when socializing with others and guiding conversations away from constant talk about the coronavirus. And we'll take a break now. When we come back, a special bail hearing for a remanded cop, and police catch a man who shot and robbed a Cayo cab driver. Don't go away.
Border jumping is illegal and puts our entire nation at risk. Our neighbors, Guatemala and Mexico, are experiencing rapidly increasing numbers of COVID-19 cases, and there are more deaths every day. Persons entering Belize illegally from these hotspot countries are not being tested for COVID-19. That's why it is important to report anyone entering Belize illegally by calling our hotlines. Smart users call 0800-JUMPERS or 0800-BORDERS. For Digi, call 0800-SAVE-BZE. Condoning or engaging in border jumping is putting yourself, your family, and the entire country at risk. Remember, anyone caught will be fined up to $5,000 and or imprisoned for 2 years. Stop border jumping now. This message is brought to you by the Belize Police Department and the Belize Bank.
Bellykin got your back.
What you mean?
Brother, when you buy a 6-pack of Bellykin beer, Bellykin Stout or Bellykin Light, you could enter for winning a Bellykin's weekly drawings.
What are the prizes?
Over 10,000 in a weekly prizes, including Bellykin beer, Bellykin bar tabs, and cash. With your purchase on a 6-pack, scan the QR code or visit bellykin.com/win to enter your unique 6-pack ID. But make sure you keep your 6-pack cartons for proof of purchase.
Boy, Bellykin really got the back with the purchase at every 6-pack.
Bellykin, the beer of Belize.
Saltar la frontera es ilegal y coloca a toda la nación en riesgo. Nuestros vecinos, Guatemala y México, han experimentado un rápido incremento de casos de contagio de COVID-19 y hay más muertes cada día. Personas entrando a Belice ilegalmente, viniendo de esos países con múltiples casos, no les están haciendo las pruebas de COVID-19. Es por eso que es importante reportar a cualquiera que entre ilegalmente a Belice llamando a nuestras líneas directas. Para Smart, marque 0800-586-7377, 0800-267-3377 y para Digi, marque 0800-728-3293. Tolerar o participar en entrar ilegalmente es ponerte a ti, a tu familia y a todo tu país en riesgo. Recuerda, cualquiera que sea arrestado deberá pagar una multa de hasta 5,000 y o prisión por 2 años. Detén el salto de fronteras hoy. Este mensaje es presentado por el Departamento de Policía de Belice y el Banco de Belice.
Take your cooking skills to a whole new level with Glazed Out, TNC's first ever cooking show with culinary expert Chef Sean Quillen. Tune in every week for exciting Belizean cuisine and some of Belize's biggest names in culinary art and culture, and watch as they create unique and delicious meals that will surely excite your taste buds. Glazed Out in the kitchen with Chef Sean.
Belizean food, another level. Premiering only on TNC 10.
Last night we told you about Elton Eligio, the police corporal who over the weekend was arrested and charged for possession of a firearm without a license and whilst under the influence of alcohol, among other offences. As we told you, he spent an overnight on remand at the Central Prison, but tonight he's out on bail. This morning, his attorney Dickie Bradley got a special bail hearing before Justice Antoinette Moore in Belize City. Eligio was not in court for the bail application and was represented instead by his attorney, Dickie Bradley. His relatives were able to secure property bail by 3 p.m., at which point they were able to retrieve him from the Belize Central Prison. He must appear for his next court date on September 23rd of 2020, and he must also report to the Belmopan police station every Friday. He must also not interfere with any prosecution witnesses, and he must not be arrested and charged with any other offences whilst out on bail. A man has been detained for robbing and shooting a Cayo taxi driver. 21-year-old Jerison Ramirez, a taximan of Santa Elena town, was shot to the legs and upper back on Saturday night by a gunman posing as a fare. It happened at about 8:15 when Ramirez and his wife were flagged down on the Bullet Tree Road by a man who asked to be taken to Santa Elena. They turned at the junction of Branch Mount Road in an effort to get change for the passenger's $50 bill. That's where his passenger held him at gunpoint and shots were fired in a struggle that ensued. We got more details on the incident yesterday from ACP Joseph Myvet.
Police were called to the San Ignacio Community Hospital on Saturday sometime around 8:30 p.m. where they met and spoke with one Jerison Ramirez, 19 years taxi driver, who reported to police that whilst himself and his common-law wife were traveling on the Bullet Tree Road, they were waved down by a Hispanic male passenger wearing a white long-sleeve shirt and khaki pants, who they stopped for, and he indicated to them that he wanted to go to Santa Elena. As a result, they then took the direction of the new bridge, and before reaching the bridge, the passenger inquired if they had change for a $50 Belize, to which the taxi driver responded no. As a result, he was then requested to go into the Branch Mount Road, and just about that time of doing so, he became suspicious and brought his car to a stop. This was when the male person pulled out a firearm and a struggle ensued between himself and the taxi driver. In the process, the taxi driver received several gunshot injuries, but he was able to disarm that male person. At this point in time, the police are looking for a named suspect in relation to this investigation.
The alleged culprit is a Guatemalan and he is detained tonight and should be charged tomorrow. Ramirez was only grazed by the shots, luckily. And while that cab driver was robbed and shot, for cabbies on the Key, life without tourism has robbed them of their main source of income. One island cabbie today told the San Pedro Sun that with the current lockdown, it's a struggle to keep food on his family's table.
Well, in the past 2 weeks or 2-3 months I've gone back, it is very difficult for the cab drivers, to survive, because sometimes we make like two trips per day. That's we say like almost like 30 minutes per day, and sometimes we just don't make anything, And now with these 14 days that you give us first again, the same thing. Sometimes we come out, sometimes nothing. Sometimes we go with nothing in our hand, nothing for the table food for the table for our kids. But it's very hard. It's very hard for us cab drivers, to start our town because everything is locked down. But still, we are trying.
And while that cab driver says he is waiting for assistance from the unemployment relief program, others in San Pedro are getting helped by the food assistance programs targeting lockdown areas. It's led by the Ministry of Human Development, which says that up to last week it had delivered well over 1,500 such packages to the town. Last night, we showed you our teleconference interview with Sergio Chuck, the re-elected president of the Football Federation of Belize. We asked him about the controversy which played out at the Congress held by the Premier League of Belize. Insiders tell us that on Saturday, June 20th of 2020, the constituents of the PBL showed up to the Marion Jones Sporting Complex for an election of a new executive to manage the league. We are informed that there was some sort of disagreement between the FFB's electoral committee, which was to supervise the elections, and the incumbent PLB president, that is, about who should or shouldn't be allowed to vote. That dispute ultimately led to the electoral committee walking out of the elections, which then proceeded without their stamp of approval. 9 days later, the FFB sent out a press release supporting the results of those elections. In that statement, the FFB said, quote, "The executive committee recognizes the duly elected executive committee of the PLB and informs that any FFB member having any concern about the decision can seek redress through the FFB judicial committees." Chuck's opponents quickly seized on the opportunity to accuse him and his executive of only supporting the results because it was politically convenient. Opponents of the PLB president-elect challenged the election results at the FFB's Election Appeal Committee, which later ruled that the elections were null and void. So how did Chuck and his executive handle this matter? Well, that's what we asked him yesterday.
The Electoral Committee walked out of the PLB Congress and said they were not going to validate those elections.
Okay.
And when I read up the PLB statutes, the PLB is one out of the 8 members of the Federation, the only one that has not completed their election. Their statutes is the only statutes out of the Federation new statutes and the 7 other members that are all in sync. The PLB has not redone their statutes, and the PLB statute starts in about nothing about any electoral committee having to supervise their election. And my interpretation of that is that if the electoral committee of the FFB walked out of it, and their statutes is saying that it just needed to be supervised by an independent body, not an electoral committee, then I could have accepted those results. The independent body that supervised those elections were Justice of the Peace, 2 members of the Election and Boundaries Commission, and a member of the National Sports Council. So in my mind, I believe I could have satisfactorily accepted the results. The member you spoke about challenged those results. And I said, as I said before, we have independent judicial bodies now. So they challenged these at the judicial body, at the appeals committee, and the appeals committee basically ruled against the PLB and basically against me, saying that I was wrong in accepting those results and they have to go back into another election. But the appeal committee also made 2 recommendations. It said before you go into those elections, you must ask your member to redo their statutes so that they are in line with the Federation statutes, and then you go into the election.
As you heard, authority over the league has been handed over to the previous PLB executive, which was in charge before the June 20th elections. So while that's but one of the administrative challenges at upper levels of the sport, Chuck says that he and his administration are placing a lot of focus and priority on the younger generation of footballers. They are currently executing development programs aimed at producing stronger adult athletes who can then help Belize's national A team to perform better in international tournaments, such as the Gold Cup and the FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Here's what Chuck had to say about how his re-election helps him and his administration to follow through with that development strategy.
Because I understand football, I know that the focus has to be on the development of the youths. And so we put in a system in place and we are working at the youth level. And I've continually asked all Belizean football lovers and supporters to just believe in the process, because it is going to take us a couple of years to build these youths to the A team so that we could see results in the A team. In as much as people rejoice when the U17 won in Barbados, and when our U18 came in second at the UNCAF tournament, and when our U15 last year won goal at the Kodekader game, people rejoice this, but I think the big prize is when the A team wins a game. And at this stage, we are still not there yet. These kids are not ready to make that leap to the A team. So it will take us a while, and that is why we crafted out this motto, believe in the process, because the process is going to take some time.
In other football news, the preliminary draw is out for the 2022 FIFA World Cup, which will be held in Qatar. Belize has been placed in Group E, along with Haiti, Nicaragua, St. Lucia, and the Turks and Caicos. Belize's first match of the first round for the World Cup qualifiers will take place on October 8th against Haiti. And the Elections and Boundaries Commission has responded to the Belize Peace Movement, which wrote on August 3rd requesting annual reports from the Elections and Boundaries Commission for the years 2016 to 2019. These are legally mandated annual reports. Well, the commission chairman has written back saying that reports were only filed intermittently from 1970 to 2010. Since then, and we quote, there appears to be no record of any commission reports being filed, end quote. And that's all we have for you for tonight. Thanks for watching With Your News. I'm Indira Craig. Remember that you can see a streaming video of this newscast at 7newsbelize.com, brought to you by Digi for the best postpaid plans in the country. Remember that the curfew starts at 9 countrywide tonight, so please make sure to stay inside. And remember to wash your hands, wear a mask at all times in public, properly of course, and keep your social distance. Do join me back here tomorrow at 6, and until then, have a good night.